Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Movie Poster Show. Today on the show, we're taking a look at a teaser poster that, if you stare at it long enough, you're supposed to be able to see some sort of three-dimensional picture. But only if you can relax your eyes. This is the Mallrats Magic Eye poster. Okay, here it is, the Mallrats Magic Eye teaser poster. Now, this is from the year 1995. This was made for release in the United States, and the size is 27 by 40, and the artist on this is unknown. All right, before we get into the details of this poster, let's talk about the film Mallrats. Now, this was the follow-up to director Kevin Smith's debut film Clerks, which was released in 1994. A film that he financed himself for a mere $27,000. Based on the success of Clerks, Kevin Smith was given the green light to make a studio picture with a much bigger budget and production. Mallrats was released on October 20th, 1995, and just like Clerks, this movie takes place all in a single day. Now, Mallrats is the story of T.S. Quint and Brody, two friends who both get dumped by their girlfriends on the very same day. And naturally, they're feeling bummed out about it. But as Brody puts it to T.S. Quint, there is something out there that can help ease their simultaneous double loss: the mall. Much of the film takes place inside of a mall, and it's really just these two guys trying to figure out where they went wrong in their relationships and how to get their girlfriends back. Much like Clerks, that is just a day in the life of a couple convenience store clerks, it's not the plot that you love, it's the characters, the dialogue, and the jokes. Okay, let's take a closer look at this poster, but before we do, we need to address something. Now, this is just a teaser poster, and you might be saying, what about the incredible one-sheet that Drew Struzan did? His Mallrats issue #1 comic book cover one-sheet that you probably think of when you think Mallrats. Now, we're going to do an entire episode on the Drew Struzan Mallrats one-sheet because it deserves its own episode. Amazing artwork that Drew Struzan did for that poster. But I first wanted to cover the teaser poster and why it's actually pretty unique compared to a lot of other movie posters. Let's remember, these are commercial advertisements, and they're intended to sell tickets to the movie. And this Magic Eye poster is a really clever way of doing that. You see, Magic Eye posters were a big trend in the mid-90s. You could go to any mall in America in 1995 and you would most certainly see a kiosk selling these posters. People would gather around and stare at these posters, with some people having success in seeing the hidden image. And for other people, it was infamously frustrating to be able to see the image within the poster. And because Mallrats takes place inside of a mall, Kevin Smith included one of these Magic Eye poster kiosks, and he wrote in a character named Willem who literally just stands there all day trying to see the hidden image within one of these posters. And much like in real life, people in the movie gather around Willem and offer him advice on how to see the hidden image. And this one plot point provided a very unique opportunity for the ad campaign. If people would gather around these types of posters at the mall, logic would have it that they would also do so at a movie theater, and thus the Mallrats Magic Eye one-sheet was born. I actually don't know if that's how it was done at the ad agency, but if it was, it's some very smart advertising. It's a really clever way to get people's attention and keep people's attention. You know, most of us just take a quick look at the posters hanging in the theater on our way into our seats, but this poster would get you to stop in your tracks and look. And while you were trying to see the hidden image, you would also be getting hit with the advertisement for the movie. Now, the artwork of this poster is fairly simple. We've got two blocks of text on opposite corners of the top and bottom, two taglines of text on the top and bottom, and the characters of Jay and Silent Bob in the middle, all set against a background of the Magic Eye artwork. I would say that Jay and Silent Bob are really the main focus of the poster, as they're placed right in the center, dressed in black and looking like they're up to no good. And if you haven't seen Clerks, you wouldn't know who these guys were, but if you were one of the people that had seen Clerks and loved the movie, the reappearance of these two would have been really exciting. The two guys from that Clerks movie that I loved are going to be in another movie. How about that? That's awesome. The top tagline, relax your eyes and stare vacantly into space. It's a great tagline, and what's great about this tagline is that not only does it tie into one of the plot points of the movie, but it also applies to what you are doing at the very moment you are looking at the poster. It's literally instructions on how to look at the poster that's right in front of you. And I don't know if there's any other movie poster in the history of cinema that has ever done that. Then we have the little snipe bar down at the bottom. This October, get mauled, which I've never heard somebody say get mauled, but Mallrats, get mauled. I get it. It works. The top snipe coming to you from the director of Clerks. And again, if you were a fan of Clerks, this would have been an instant ticket sale right here. Another movie from the same guy who made Clerks. Fantastic. And down at the bottom, we can see the Gramercy logo. Gramercy Pictures was the film production label that helped produce Mallrats, and they produced some great movies, including Fargo, Dazed and Confused, and The Big Lebowski. But eventually, like a lot of these movie studios, they were acquired by a bigger company, and Gramercy Pictures was no more. Yeah, most of the poster seems like it's all red and pink, but there's actually quite a few different colors. So if we break it down, we've got white, black, pink, green, blue, orange, purple, and yellow that make up the poster's color palette. So let me remind you, this is a teaser poster, so it doesn't actually show any credits of the actors that are in it or even the name of the movie. It really relies on you having knowledge of who Kevin Smith is, who Jay and Silent Bob are, and what the movie Clerks is. So if you didn't know the movie Clerks, it might leave you scratching your head as to what is this, what am I looking at here? Or maybe it would intrigue you into actually going out and seeing the movie. But wait, what's the name of the movie? It doesn't say, or does it? So what is the hidden image inside this teaser poster? In the movie, the character of Willem spends his time at the mall trying to see the hidden image inside of one of these Magic Eye posters. And mall patrons walk by and easily see the image of a sailboat, and it just ratchets up the anger and anxiety inside of Willem as the movie progresses. Could the image hidden inside of this teaser poster be the very same sailboat? Well, actually, no. The poster that was used in the movie was a true Magic Eye poster, but it didn't show a sailboat. It was just a bunch of different shapes. So much like the character Willem, I've tried over and over to see the hidden image within this poster, and I can't do it. I can't get my eyes to relax enough to see the hidden image, but there may be an answer to what the hidden image is here. Let me explain. So the image of this Magic Eye poster was also used on the vinyl soundtrack. It was used on the cassette tape. Yes, it made cassette tapes still in 1995, but most interesting of all, this Magic Eye poster art was used in comic books as full-page ads to promote the movie. And what we've got here is the actual ad from a comic book. And you can see it right here. It's almost the same exact thing, but it's slightly different. It has the same Relax Your Eyes tagline, but under the tagline, we can see this. Relax your eyes and stare vacantly into space. Or you could look for the answer below, but remember, cheaters only cheat themselves. Then if we flip this over and look, it says Mallrats. It's mall or nothing. So does that solve the mystery? Does this poster actually have the name of the movie right in front of you the whole time, and you could see it if only you could relax your eyes? I don't know because I can't see it. I feel your pain, Willem. And after the release of Mallrats, Kevin Smith continued to write and direct movies, and he would go on to create the View Askewniverse, his own cinematic universe in which he connected many of his movies together. And Jay and Silent Bob, they would go on to get their own series of movies and cartoons, and they are still out there making art to this day. I know a lot of us idolized Kevin Smith growing up in the 90s. His story was legendary, this thing of legend, this guy that sold his comic book collection and made his own movie with no connections to anyone, just some random dude. And you got to remember, the technology and resources that are available to filmmakers today just didn't exist in the early 1990s. So the idea of making a full-length feature film seemed next to impossible unless you had money and connections in the industry. So when you first saw Clerks and you learned the story behind it of this kid that came along and did this impossible thing, it was the height of what we thought was cool. You know, a regular guy from a small town making movies about people we could relate to. And we would do stuff exactly like this. We would walk around the mall for hours because there was nothing else to do in our town, or hanging out at a convenience store or a gas station or literally in a parking lot. And Mallrats really captured what it was like growing up in the 90s for a lot of us. And that's why for many of us, Mallrats has become a cult classic. All right, everyone, that does it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and go check out Mallrats if you haven't seen it, and go visit the mall if you could still find one. And on the next episode, we're going to take a look at one of my favorite horror movies, a David Cronenberg classic, really gross one with a fantastic one sheet. You will be afraid, very afraid. We'll see you next time.